Okay, well basically before I went to go get tested, I was watching the musical Rent, and then I picked the worst movie to watch the day I find out I'm positive. But
I was with my first partner at the time, and we had just purchased a condo, and his father was our insurance agent, and I wanted to get mortgage insurance.
My best friend is HIV positive, so I decided to have my test done in 2009. And I went to the works and it was negative. And so a few years later, well, last year, I just decided to have another test.
I wasn't surprised when I found out, but I wasn't since I went in preparing for the worst. I always do that in terms of any kind of situation. So when I did find out, the man I couldn't remember his name, but the man asked me, "Were you surprised by this?" And I said no.
They required blood work to see whether or not, to find out whether or not everything was all right. And I got a letter from the insurance company saying I was denied insurance and I should consult with my doctor right away. Now this was back in 1987, and we knew exactly what that meant at that time because so many people were dying with AIDS.
And they called me and said, "Do you want to come in for your results?" So I knew already. This is the first time they didn't call back. They don't, if you're negative, they don't call you back. So I knew that I was positive, and I was.
My name's Arti Kapoor, and I'm a family physician here in Toronto, and I also sit on the board of directors at ACT. The way that I found out about ACT was that as a family physician, I perform anonymous HIV point-of-care testing in the community. My first patient that I diagnosed as positive was non-status, so that meant that they didn't have a health card, they didn't have any health insurance, and they actually didn't have any support systems in Toronto. As a physician, I knew that the time immediately after diagnosis was crucial in terms of linkage to supports and treatment, but I didn't know what services were out there for my patient and his specific situation. So with the patient in the room, we Googled AIDS service organizations and we called ACT. Within a couple of minutes, I was linked up with a case coordinator who put my patient in contact with a primary care HIV doctor who was able to provide them with medical appointments for free.
Over the course of time, I don't just volunteer with the organization, but I avail myself and take advantage of some of the various programs that are available and some of the support groups in the past that were made available, but also the various workshops and seminars that ACT provides in abundance.
And specifically, the group that I'm going to next Wednesday is a huge impact on my life because it's special, especially for women. And just knowing, especially when you were right across the street from me, just knowing that I could roll out of bed and walk across the street to ACT and have any support I needed, computer access. I don't have a computer. I really can't afford one, and I don't know how to use them. I'm post-computer era, so anything I need, it's just at my fingertips with this place.
what ACT means to me is more of a support system. Some place where I feel comfortable talking about who I am and what I do. In terms of the HIV Now campaign, we wanted to go into 4 different categories. That was disclosure, testing, PrEP, and prevention. And those are the 4 categories I got. And in terms of that, we wanted to just create simple concepts that were understandable. To have a feeling where people are talking about my work and it's making a difference is kind of, it's an odd feeling because I never had that feeling before, of people actually like talking about something I did.
Over the course of time that I've been involved with volunteering at ACT, the AIDS Committee of Toronto, I've seen a lot of changes with regard to the types of people that are accessing service. When I say types of people, I mean youth, I mean women, women of varying ages and ethnic backgrounds, older men, who are coming in and accessing because they've just been newly diagnosed. And a lot of times too, some of the ones that I've experienced and talked to are they're angry with themselves because they think HIV and AIDS awareness information has been around for a long period of time. How did this happen to me at this late stage of the game? Why did I allow that to happen? How did it happen?
There's social supports that are found on a one-on-one level with a counselor. There's case coordinators who provide linkage to medical care in the community. There's also supports for patients who feel isolated and financial resources as well in terms of help with job employment action.
It's a friendly environment, it's embracing, it's welcoming, it's non-judgmental. ACT and the staff there and the volunteers, I like to think, at least within my experience, have always been supportive and, as I was saying earlier, have become, in a way, my family, my extended family.
There's a sense of a mini family aspect that I get whenever with whoever I meet, and everyone's so genuine and everyone's so sweet. You kind of just, it kind of feels more or less of a community because of that.
As you meet people one by one, they're a very warm and friendly group. I feel right at home here. It's sometimes I think it's kind of strange that I was adopted and I never felt like I belonged anywhere, and it took me till I was 64 years old to find a place where I do feel like I belong. I walk in the door and I feel like I'm at home.